have a name?
Ryo Hazuki.
Well, Ryo, it's your lucky day.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at 10 video game sequels that fumbled the ball in resurrecting their franchises.
This is your last chance to run away.
Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Mass Effect Andromeda.
All right. I got us here. Good luck, Pathfinder.
At the start, it was rather confusing to hear BioWare was making a fourth Mass Effect game. I mean, wasn't the third game supposed to be the end of it? Like, definitive conclusion, you know? Well, this new one was supposed to start a brand new story in a completely different corner of the universe. Supposedly, that part of the universe is where everyone was running around with loaded britches. Mass Effect Andromeda was plagued with so many animation bugs that it turned the game into the internet's punching bag for most of 2017. Not only that, but the gameplay was nothing like the original trilogy, as it tried to be severely less RPG and significantly more third-person shooter.
You'll forgive me if I didn't just trust a stranger from the Nexus. They haven't exactly treated us Krogan well. What are you doing out here?
Star Fox Zero.
That's as far as you go, Star Fox.
I do hope you like our new toys.
Star Fox went through a serious identity crisis for a time. It started as an on-rails shooter, then it was an action-adventure game, then it was a third-person shooter. But once the remake of Star Fox 64 3D released in 2011, one would hope Nintendo had realized the IP is at its best when it's an on-rails shooter. 5 years later, we get Star Fox Star Fox Zero. As if releasing on an actively dying platform wasn't bad enough, the game annoyed what few players gave it the time of day with its cinematic cameras that would take hold in the middle of gameplay. This would open the player up to several cheap shots, a frequent complaint among reviewers. And now, Star Fox is pretty much dead, as there is no new game in sight as of October 2025. Dead or Alive 6.
I believe I shall take out the garbage.
For almost all of the 2010s, the only Dead or Alive game we ever had was DOA 5, and the 3 different re-releases that DOA 5 got: DOA 5 Plus, DOA 5 Ultimate, and DOA 5 Last Round, which is arguably the best version of all of them. It wasn't until 2019, a whole 7 years since the initial release of DOA 5, when we got the 6th mainline game in the series. Dead or Alive 6 had such an insanely strong start, with its innovative progression system for unlocking outfits, the way it integrated meter-based mechanics without sacrificing the core mechanics, and the visual fidelity shown in the character models and environments. So what went wrong? Severely overpriced cosmetics and recycled DLC characters. Plus, what the hell, Koei Tecmo? No tag mode? Eventually, Koei Tecmo quietly abandoned the game, just as the player base did. And now, Dead or Alive lives on, under the Extreme and Venus Vacation spin-offs. Really, why have we gotten more of these games in the last 20 years than we've gotten mainline Dead or Alive games? Oh yeah, Gooners have taken hold of the community. Great.
You were acting all tough at the beginning. What happened?
Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time.
A magnificent likeness, isn't it, Cooper? Almost as handsome as the real thing.
Huh, yeah. Looks almost big enough to contain your overinflated ego.
Though Sly's story finished with Honor Among Thieves in 2005, fans were begging for a new game for the next 8 years. The demand grew more intense when the trilogy was remastered for PlayStation 3. But when Thieves in Time dropped in 2013, one has to wonder where these supposed fans ran off to. Reviews were moderately favorable, with only a few minor problems between the ending and a few weak levels, but overall, solid review scores all around. Unfortunately, sales were still weak to where the ring-tailed thief has been missing for far longer than he had been missing before. Halo Infinite.
Whoa, easy there, big guy. You're not...
Status report.
Status report? What? There's something you need to see, Chief.
For a time, the return of Halo was actually something to be interested in. Oh, Halo 4 wasn't super great, but maybe Halo 5 will be the turnaround. Oh, Halo 5 was, kinda crap, huh? Well, maybe 6 years of development on the next Halo will really revive the Chief. Nope. Halo Infinite suffered a similar fate as Dead or Alive 6. It had a somewhat strong start with a campaign that people enjoyed a fair amount. But you know what it didn't have? Enough maps to keep the multiplayer from getting stale too quickly. Seasons were drip-fed and went on for way too long, and to make matters worse, we didn't get Forge in the game until an entire year after launch. This should have been a slam dunk for Xbox and 343 Industries. And now, you have even hardcore Halo fans saying they don't want another Halo game. All you need is the Master Chief Collection, they say.
We need help, not heroics.
No, we do our duty. Protect humanity, whatever the cost.
New tales from the Borderlands.
Who's a good girl? Juniper is. Juniper's a good girl.
Well, who wouldn't be a good girl for that kind of attention?
A sequel to Tales from the Borderlands isn't too terrible of an idea. Sure, Reese and Fiona's stories were done, but you can always explore other regions of Pandora for new and original stories. Just one thing, Gearbox, you might want to hire the folks who know what they were doing. They did, but as consultants. And that's how we got New Tales from the Borderlands. Gearbox wanted to make the sequel themselves, an entire 8 years after Telltale developed the original game. And it was so god-awful. Just to go off script for a second here, I could barely make it through the first episode. It was such awful writing. There is not a single likable character in this whole game, as everybody is pretty much one note in their responses, and everybody has a quip for quips upon quips every given moment. It is such an obnoxious cast that it's impossible to get through just the first episode. I barely made it out alive, man.
Well, if it isn't Reese Strongfork.
Susan Coldwell, CEO of TDR.
Crackdown 3. It is very, very strange that Xbox let Crackdown die on the vine so early in its lifetime. Sure, Crackdown 2 wasn't as good as the first game, but it was still a solid game. Even so, Crackdown went through a 9-year-long dormancy before we got the third game. And this time, we had Terry Crews as the face of the game, which was appropriate given some of the macho characters he has portrayed in movies and TV. What we didn't know was that his role in the game was just a mere distraction. Crackdown 3 was, and still is, a technical mess, and missions were so bland and boring that we suddenly remembered the worst aspects of Crackdown 2. Oh yeah, this is why we stopped playing this franchise. It's mundane! Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
Well, when God closes a door. What?
This sequel may not be the worst game of 2025, but considering how long it's been in development and how many times companies pushed the game onto other companies, did anybody bother asking if this should just be cancelled? Bloodlines 2 is an incredibly short game with almost no amount of player choice to be found. In a sequel to a RPG known for its flexible amount of player choice. If you were one of the diehard fans that had been waiting the past 21 years for this, we are deeply sorry for you. Truly. This should have turned out way better than it did. And yet we're somehow not surprised. Duke Nukem forever. Fans of the Duke may not have had to wait as long as Vampire the Masquerade fans, but to this day, forever is kind of the main reason why we still don't have any Duke Nukem games in sight as of 2025. After having spent 15 years in development, Duke Nukem Forever gave us an FPS that was middling in combat, had wonky physics in vehicles and objects, and featured some disgustingly sexist depictions of women we had seen in gaming at the time. To this day, we have yet to see 2K bring the Duke back for his own game. He's popped up here and there, but for the most part, forever may have ensured his demise. Ironic, giving the title. Shenmue 3.
Hey, Shenhua.
We have to get to the village.
Let's go. Do you have any idea where your father might have gone?
No, I don't.
Of all the video game sequels, none had squandered a bigger opportunity than Shenmue 3. So many fans had spent nearly 2 decades begging for one more game, just to let creator Yu Suzuki finish the story. They got their wish, Suzuki obliged, and fans almost instantly regretted it. Shenmue 3 felt exactly like the first 2 games, for better and for worse. On one hand, it was nice to see Ryo and company in brand new engines with new details, and yes, it was what you would probably expect from a Shenmue game. On the other hand, this was a new Shenmue game that took no cues from the open world games that had filled its shoes over the past couple decades. Newer players found a sequel that was boring, monotonous, and lacking in any interesting concepts whatsoever. As for the fans, the cliffhanger ending was enough for many to denounce Suzuki as a creative. Publisher Deep Silver's parent company, Embracer Group, stated the game sold fine, but do you think that means there is any hope for a Shenmue 4? Probably not.
What did they look like?
Well, they weren't from around here, that's for sure.
What's a video game sequel that disappointed you? Let us know down in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays.